Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is that you inky savages are joining us for episode number 140 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. This week, I got some stuff to talk about. I'm really excited about a recent purchase. You're going to have to stay tuned to hear about that. Fountain Pen Day is coming up. I think it's the first Thursday or Friday. Do you remember which one? It's the first Friday of every November. It is the greatest holiday in the history of all holidays, national or worldwide, and it's been celebrated for millions of years since the dawn of man. So I think
because fountain pens were still around at the dawn of man. In fact, that's what you see in the scene in Stanley Kubrick's 2000 when they were, the monkeys that saw the monolith. It was fountain pens that they were using, not bones and tools.
Right.
Yes.
It might not look like a fountain pen, but it was a fountain pen.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to thank everybody once again. You're checking out the affiliate link and making purchases on it. It is very appreciated. Make sure you check out Gold Spot Pens at the affiliate link in the description below. And make sure to use coupon code ROY at checkout for an additional savings on products on the Gold Spot website. Now, I'm also going to talk about another product and another retailer. Dun, dun, dun. That is not Gold Spot related, and you cannot buy on Gold Spot. You can buy it at penchalet.com, and it is an exclusive. And everybody loves an exclusive limited edition pen, right? I hope. Well, Pen Chalet has a new exclusive from the Italian pen maker GIOIA. GIOIA means joy in Italian. Now, GIOIA has been around. Right. GIOIA has been around in Italy, but it's just making way into the U.S. due to our good friends over at Luxury Brands of America. Now, this GIOIA exclusive is made from an incredible exclusive ebonite. There's a lot of the word exclusive being thrown around in this read.
So much exclusivity.
So much exclusivity. I don't know what makes it exclusive, but this pen has a ruthenium trim, matte black nib, and an engraving of the Grand Canyon on the cap to pay homage to Pen Chalet. Each pen is individually numbered and is limited to 50 pieces worldwide. I don't get the worldwide part because it's only in Pen Chalet, so it's limited to 50 pieces at Pen Chalet. I guess they can ship worldwide. I don't know.
Yeah.
These will go fast, so don't wait. Oh, here's a line that's never been used before. Once they're gone forever. I mean, in this case...
To be clear, that's what Bryce wrote, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Once they're gone,
when they're gone, they're gone forever.
Right. So just tickling that FOMO nerve in your brain. It is a cool looking ebonite. It's ebonite-y looking. I do like they don't have the model name though. I'm not sure which it is. I think it's the Alaria possibly, or is it the Partenope? Who knows?
That I do not know. I'm not very well versed in the GIOIA line. That's why Pen Chalet, of course, is doing this thing here. We're allowing a little bit more of a broader range of products being shown here because it's not everything has to go through the sponsors. Not everything has to be purchased at Gold Spot. Not everything has to be purchased through Luxury Brands of America. So, we're all about just wide inclusivity, so anything and everything goes. Yeah,
right. And Ron, I don't know if you know this, but in the early days, well, you know this, but people listening may not know this. Ron, in the early days, he was the pioneer of sponsoring the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. So there's always a place for Ron and Pen.
Well, he also helped sponsor the YouTube channel too.
Yes, he did. So solid dude. Much love to Ron and Pen Chalet, and much love to this pen. I'm looking at it. It's got like dark black and gray and light blue and white hues and swirls and stuff like that. So it's really cool. I do love me some ebonite. It has a number 6 size Yovo nib that's ruthenium plated.
That's not exclusive.
I do believe I'm looking. That's not exclusive, no. But the pen is exclusive. And it has the engraving of the Grand Canyon, which is cool.
Is it a piston filler? And does this piston filler does this piston filler use an exclusive mechanism? Is it proprietary? Or is this something that may be borrowed from another manufacturer of dubious nature?
Right. No, I'm pretty sure the piston is copacetic. I think everything about this pen is copacetic. I do like, Ron does a lot of dark colors with ruthenium. I think he's down with that, and it does look cool. So pick yours up at Pen Chalet, and
Exclusively
at Pen Chalet. Try to use coupon code Good Words. I think it's still active. I think it still works. You can still get a discount on products on the Pen Chalet website. I'm not sure, but in any event, it would have been really good if the reed had a price here, but it doesn't. I don't know what it costs, but it's definitely a nice pen. I do love the GIOIA pens. I think the GIOIA pens are some of the best value you can get when it comes to Italian-made acrylic piston filler fountain pens. Don't quote me on this. I don't know that it's a piston filler. It looks like the model that is a piston filler because I have acrylic versions of this that are piston fillers. So if it's
we do know that it's exclusive.
Right. It's exclusive because they only use the word exclusive like 17 times in a single sentence.
Yes,
and then
I'm
like
really
30...
hamming it up, so I'm trying to increase the volume of the exclusivity.
Right. So it's exclusive to Pen Chalet. Please check it out. And lastly, please check out the good and deliciousness found over at brlcoffeeco.com. brlcoffeeco.com is our third sponsor, and it is a fantastic, wonderful coffee company just doused with sarcasm and humor. But that's not all, folks. What makes this coffee so special is how awesome it tastes, whether you get a blonde roast all the way to a dark roast. You can purchase it in whole beans, or you can get several different grinds of your choosing. You can email brlcoffeeco.com and correspond with them. From what I understand, Neil over at brlcoffeeco.com corresponded with some of our listeners to get the perfect grind, and our listeners did appreciate the communication and personal attention that was given to them, which is really awesome, especially for a coffee company. So check them out at brlcoffeeco.com, and don't forget to use coupon code ROY at checkout for an additional savings on all products on the brlcoffeeco.com website, including mugs, t-shirts, stickers, and other types of swag. One of the greatest things about this coffee is, despite the caffeine content, whether it's high, moderate, or low, it does not give you the crackhead jitters, which is always a plus. Anyway, thanks again for joining us for this week's episode number 140 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. Before we get started with this week's episode of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast, see how I'm using the words over and over like exclusive was used in the read. I just want to give you guys a quick warning. This podcast is not scripted and therefore will contain potty mouth words, both from Tom and I, mostly from me. So be forewarned, you have been warned. Now, on to the podcast.
The PenBoyRoy Entertainment Podcast. Stage 7.
So some cool thing that happened this weekend for me.
Okay.
My wife and I went out to the city in Chelsea, or
Nice.
Soho. To me, that whole south area of Manhattan is kind of like the same thing. It's a sandwich of traffic, right? So in order to get there from where we live, we have to go through a whole bunch of traffic to find parking, which is surprisingly easy in Soho. You would think that it's impossible and miserable, but it's not. It's actually a lot easier than you think, even on a Saturday.
Okay.
We parked, and then we decided to walk around, and we found ourselves in Bloomingdale's, right?
Okay.
Before we left the house, we were like, we're not going shopping. We're not going to spend any money.
Right.
That turned out to be a bold-faced lie.
As it usually does.
Yeah. But the reason why I found it so awesome was because I purchased myself from Bloomingdale's a new watch.
Oh, okay.
Now, we're not talking super high-end watches like my IWCs and stuff like that. But we are talking about a newer brand called Shinola, made in Detroit. Shinola spelled Shinola. Now, piqued my interest several times throughout the course of my scrolling through Instagram and Facebook because I see advertisements for the Shinola brand. And having seen those advertisements here and there on social media, I decided to Google it, look into it. So Shinola is a watch company that was born in 2011, and it was born in Detroit. Now, I didn't know this, but this is the first watch company that's made and established in the United States of America in about 50 years. That means in the last 50 years, there has not been a watch company where manufacturing and all that good stuff was done in the U.S. So I was thinking, that's pretty cool. And in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to watch companies, being established in 2011 is a very new company, right?
It is, yeah.
It's not at all old. And me, I like to support new companies and stuff like that, especially American companies. So I picked up a Shinola watch, and
Can I just throw this out here? Is that I think the brand name is derived from the expression, like, you don't know your shit from Shinola. So I think it's pronounced Shinola.
Is it pronounced Shinola, not Shinola?
I think it is. I'm not 100% positive, but I think that's where it comes from.
I think you're definitely right in that sense. So I was reading up on the Shinola brand, and they were trying to establish a brand name for them, right? Mm-hmm. And they kept getting into arguments and stuff like that. And then one guy got so pissed off, he was actually like, "You don't know your shit from Shinola." Mm-hmm. I didn't know that Shinola was a word, but that's how they ended up getting their name. They got their name because they got into arguments and shit like that, and they couldn't agree to stuff.
And they also, not only with watches, they also do sell some pens too, right?
I don't know. I'm looking at their... I don't think so. I'm looking at their website right now. If they do have pens and they're fountain pens, home fucking run, son. But if they don't, then too bad. But the watch that I picked up is called the Shinola Hold on. I already forgot the name because I'm stupid. The Runwell 47 millimeter. The Runwell 47 millimeter in green. Surprise, surprise, right? And it comes with a handmade leather strap that was also made in the U.S. Now, the movement is a Swiss movement, but everything else is constructed in the Detroit factory. It's actually a really cool watch. Now, I wish we could... Can you actually look it up and then share it on the screen?
Oh, God, I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Come on now. All right, so, yeah, I was actually just checking. They have a stationery and writing section.
No way.
They do sell some Fisher Space pens. They have a Shinola signature pen, which there's no fountain pens. Just, I don't want to lead you down that path and then just, be like, oh, by the way, no, there's no fountain pen. Sorry.
Yeah, that would be so cruel, right? Let's see if you can get it up on the screen so we can look at it together. So people watching.
Let me see if I could get it up. I don't know. It's kind of like late in the afternoon here.
He said, "Let me see if I can get it up."
Let me see if I can get it up here. Boom!
Look at that. You got it.
All right. Yeah, I was just looking at the stationery and writing section. They got an Enso. There's an Enso fountain pen, but it's not made by Shinola. It's just made by Enso. It's their basic.
I'm not seeing anything.
It's a. Oh, look at that. Seeing it? Yeah, it's a Bach black nib.
Okay, so it's an unbranded Bach nib. Do they have any other colors?
That's it. It's black. You can get it in any color as long as it's black. So
Let's
what was the name of
say.
the watch? So I could bring it up on here.
Hold on. Let me read what they say about this pen. So they have an. Hey, go back up.
Details
yeah, it's called an Enso minimalist fountain pen. It's on the right there.
Okay.
And it says minimal design, extraordinary detail. While minimalist in aesthetic, this thoroughly designed fountain pen leaves nothing to be wanted. Crafted from a solid block of aluminum, this pen is durable yet smooth, offering an effortless writing experience. Using the finest interchangeable German-manufactured nibs, this fountain pen is designed to write for a lifetime and be passed down from generation to generation. Let's see some other pictures of that. Click over. Okay, now that's pretty much it. There's only 3 pictures.
You can't post the cap. It's just pretty basic type of pen. For $80, I think it's a pretty decent value. Aluminum barrel. It's kind of like a Kaweco Sport. It's like in that regard.
It has 106 reviews and it has 4.5 out of 5 stars. Let's take a look at the reviews and see what they say about it. Let's see if the reviews are by fountain pen enthusiasts or if they're just by people who are fans of the watch.
We could look at like the highest rating.
Well,
reviews,
let's just see the first one here.
Okay.
It's a verified buyer. This one is August 15th, 2022. And Marlene S. says, I was going to give. Okay. And then the review says, I was going to give this as a gift to a man who adores Shinola products. The pen is too small for a man, and even for a woman, it's not comfortable to use. I was expecting the Shinola label to be more pronounced. I had to look for it. Disappointed in it. Have not tried writing with it. Okay, so that's a 3-star out of 5-star review for the fountain pen. Let's take a look.
Oh, you know what though? You read below there, and it says reviewed on, and then it says Shinola plus Fisher Space Pen with the Shinola Detroit logo. So this is not even a review of this fountain pen. This is just actually. It looks like that they're aggregating reviews from all of their pens and then putting it on this particular pen.
It looks like they even had
doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Yeah. It actually falsely pumps up the number of reviews because this is not this is not relevant.
Right.
I want to see reviews for this item.
Right.
Why are you showing me reviews for other items? I don't understand.
Agreed. Is there a way to filter?
Let's see. Enzo. Was it Enzo? Is with two
S's, two S's.
Two S's.
ENSSO.
Let's see if I could. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. Oh, look. One review.
4 out of 5 stars.
Because it actually includes Enzo in the description of the review. So there may be more of them in there, but we'd have to go hunting through all of those 100+ reviews to find them.
Okay. It says maybe a bit too smooth for some. I love this pen. The included ink is awesome. The included converter is awesome. The Bach nib is a bit squeaky until you break it in a bit. It may be a bit too smooth for some, but it's great for me. -1 star for lack of bolt. Love the subtle lightning bolt worked into the space pens, but still a great pen. Enzo's site advises not to post the cap. I wear large, extra large gloves, and it's still sufficiently big for comfortable writing. Okay. I'm not sure what he's talking about when he's talking about, I guess, breaking it in.
I'm guessing that it's in reference to probably when he was like when you're writing with it, sometimes like the nib, could squeak, especially if you're using like smoother paper. It could possibly have that little squeak on it, but then as you write with it, maybe it just kind of warmed up the writing pad and that doesn't do it anymore.
Well, maybe that's also machining oils, because I don't like if your nib squeaks, that iridium tip is what it is. I don't think it's going to not squeak just by writing with it more. I think maybe it rubbed off like machining oils and stuff like that. That's why some people always say you have to always rinse out your pen before you use it, especially for fountain pens. Oh, only for fountain pens. You're not going to rinse out a ballpoint pen before you use a ballpoint pen. But they have several pens. I think that they should really link up with some other brands that would really represent their brand better. So go to the watch. Go to the Runwell 47mm in green, and let's show them what I got. I mean, I can just lift up my hand
47
and show them what I got. Runwell 47mm
green. Let's see.
You're so good at typing fast.
No, this is blue. Oh, sorry. Right?
That blue and yellow looks good too, though.
That does look pretty nice.
Yeah, it does.
Let's see. Where's the other? Did they show the other colors here? No.
I don't think so. You have to go to the actual one. What I like about the green that I have, I'm going to lift up my arm and just, show it.
Well, I'm not seeing it right now because
it's right there.
I'm looking at the other tab so I could go. Here we go.
That's true. Here we go. So that's the one that I got. I love the green. It's kind of like, in reality, it's not as vibrant green. It's more like a original Game Boy DMG screen type green. You know what I mean? When you make the screen as dark as you want and the contrast roller on the side and it turns like all green. That's the kind of green it is. I really like it. I like the band. Let's see what other pictures they have here. So they have different angles. I don't know.
I do like the strap complements it well. I like
it really does.
That really brown strap.
Yeah.
And then the offset, the white stitching. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can tell, but the crystal on the front is a sapphire crystal, and it's slightly domed, which I always love in
It
a watch.
does look a little bit like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I always love that in a watch because it gives it kind of... See, in the sideway picture, you can't really see it, but if you're holding it and you're looking at it, you can see that it has like a domed shape to the crystal. I really love that. This is a quartz watch, so it doesn't have a skeletal clear back. It's just a metal back with the branding serial number, built in Detroit, and all that stuff. I really do enjoy this watch. 47 millimeters is kind of big for my dinky little wrists, but it works so well with me. I really like the way it looks. And what I really like about it is, tell me if you agree or not, this watch has a very vintage 1930s, 40s, 50s feel to it, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. I'm getting that vibe. I'm definitely getting that vibe.
And then the large numbers, it gives me a very, like, I don't know, like a pilot's watch type feel, wouldn't you say? So I like that. I like the simplicity of it. The second hand is its own dial at the bottom, which I think is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. Like I said, if you look at the crown also, do you see how the crown is kind of separated by brackets from the bezel of the watch? I do like that also too, because what that does is it gives it kind of like a pocket watch look to it, like a vintage pocket watch that's 100 years old, but it's not a pocket watch. It's a wristwatch. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, as most newer brands will do, it has the quick release bands. So if you look at the back, I don't know if there's a picture of it, but the band is quick release. There you go. So it has these little levers. You can just pull off the band easily and replace it with a different band if you'd wanted to. I really do like this watch very much. $595. I think it was a good buy. So it's the flagship style. The Runwell is a simple and sophisticated watch crafted for decades of wear. Oh, you're moving around while I'm reading.
Oh, sorry.
This obsessive... Yeah, you're still moving. This obsessively engineered watch is built to last and named accordingly. 2 hands and a subdial are driven by Shinola's Argonite 1069 high-accuracy quartz movement. The bold green dial is punctuated by applied Arabic numerals in white. The solid stainless steel case features a classic pumpkin crown with double-domed sapphire crystal to protect the watch from scratches throughout years of wear. Go ahead, get attached. What does that mean, double-domed sapphire crystal?
There's 2 domes. There's a double layer, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really, really handsome watch. I really like it. It's going to be my everyday watch because I'm not wearing, a $7,000 Pilot Spitfire or something higher that range as an everyday watch because I do too much stupid shit where I'll bang into stuff. But for me, a $600 classic vintage styled pilot's watch, or it looks like a pilot's watch, that does it for me. I can wear it around. I don't have to worry too much about scratching. Of course, I'm going to be careful. And it's green. And my favorite color is green. So I sincerely do appreciate this watch. I do love the fact that it's a newer brand. And I think that it's good to, buy from brands that are new and whatnot. I mean, they've been
mostly
around for
made in the
years.
United States, too. Because, I know there's Swiss parts in it, being that there's the inner mechanics. Just like with fountain pens, like Edison will still import the nibs, the Yofo nibs from Germany. But for the most part, you're helping an American manufacturing business.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which are very rare.
Which is good because also everything is made in the U.S., including the band, which is hand stitched in the U.S. The only thing that's not made in the U.S. is actually the movement. They say the movement is a Swiss movement. So they have different ones. The Argonite 1069 is the one that's in my watch. They have other movements that are Argonite 10 something else. And I think it's a really nice, well-made, a lot of detail in the watch, even in the back piece. I don't even know the proper terminology for it, but I really do enjoy it. I'm going to pair it with a pen. Stand by.
Okay.
I think the perfect pen to pair it with is, you can close the screen so people can see the pen that I'm going to pair it with.
Let's see. Hold on. Stop sharing.
It might be this pen here.
Ah,
You know
yes.
what this is?
The Montegrappa Zero in the
the
Samba.
Yeah, the Montegrappa Zero in the Samba, which I think is a great pairing for this. Now, I'm conflicted because, well, I'll tell you why I think it's a good match. One of the reasons I think it's a good match is because the finial of the Montegrappa Zero Samba is also sapphire crystal.
Mm-hmm.
I also like the green tones that are in this pen. It has yellow, but that doesn't really match what I have going on with the watch other than the face being green.
Right.
So another pen that I was considering pairing it with is, let's see if I pulled the right one. Yes, here we go. I think this one is actually a better match. This one, if I show you the box, let's see if you know the brand. Ching! That was it. That's all you get. I lifted up a wooden box with Asian lettering and a drawing on it.
That's probably a platinum then, right?
No,
Or Nakaya?
No, it's a Wancher.
Oh, the Wancher. Okay.
So the Wancher here, I think, is a better pairing. Especially the green is more similar,
Right.
and it has the sterling silver leaf roll stop,
Okay.
and it has a stainless steel nib that's white metal, and it matches the accents of the watch better. So I might pair these two. I'm not sure. I do like the Montegrappa. I also like the Wancher. I don't know which one I should go with, but I'm going to have all day to think about it today before I go to work with all this cool new stuff tomorrow.
Well, I'm thinking also, if you happen to have the Platinum 3776 Century in the Laurel Green?
So the Laurel Green also has gold trim, and that's the issue that I have with the Montegrappa Zero Samba.
I think, did they make it in a rhodium trim as well?
If they did, I don't have it.
Tom. Yeah.
Tom, I don't have it.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Sounds like a Bryce problem, huh?
It sounds like a sponsor needs to come through and set you up with.
Right, I know. But just so everybody knows, Shinola is not sponsored. I am in no way affiliated with Shinola watches. I just really liked it. You know, it grabbed my attention when I was scrolling through Facebook and Instagram. Really grabbed my attention, especially this Runwell model. Mm-hmm. And I really did look at it, never heard of it, and I'm like, never heard of that. What the fuck is Shinola? Looked it up, and I'm like, you know what? I like the fact that it's going to help the Detroit economy. It's going to help give jobs to people in the community over there. And I'm like, great. So,
and ultimately, it's going to help Roy look really suave.
That's right. So what happened was I wasn't quite ready to pull the trigger online. So it was kind of like fate that we happened to walk into Bloomingdale's, and by the way, there was like a sale on like stuff at Bloomingdale's, Movado watches and stuff like that. It was like 30% off all Movado watches. There was no sale on the Shinola, but the one that kept jumping out at me was this watch, this Shinola watch. I didn't even know what price range Shinola was, but I kept looking at it. It wouldn't stop speaking to me like an obsessed ex-girlfriend.
It just pulled to you. You connected. There was that undeniable like animal urge that just came out, and you just I need to have it.
And the lady that worked there, her name was Fan. She was saying, "Oh, that one's not on sale." I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Let me see this pen. Let me see this watch. I want to. It's like I really like it. Let me see.
I'm sorry, sir. You clearly can't afford this watch.
Right. And then I looked at the price, and looking at it, I'm like, this brand being in Bloomingdale's, it must be like maybe 1,000, maybe 900, maybe 1,200. I don't know. Let me see. $595. I was like, sold. I am so totally going to post pictures of this. I'm going to use it on social media. I'm going to make a TikTok and an IG reel out of it. And then I'm going to use my Pentertainment podcast, Pentertainment Studios, LLC business card.
Now, did you get any sort of discount after all of this, telling the sales clerk about your many, many connections and where this where this watch was going to be mentioned, or?
No, I didn't mention any of that stuff. And
No, you didn't.
guarantee
This was
you
all
even
going
if-
on in your head. You were just like, this is what I'm going to do with it.
You know what's funny? I didn't even think about it, but I guarantee you, if I did tell her, she wouldn't have given a shit.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. It'd be like, now it's $6.95. We can't have our brand being closely tied to yours.
Right. She's like, wait a minute, I'm selling this watch to a guy named PenBoyRoy. What the fuck? Get out of here. We don't want your business. No, I'm
Listen,
willing to pay.
I
It
am an
doesn't matter.
influencer who makes tens of dollars a month.
I am a
in
dozen-dollar corporation, a multi-dozen-dollar corporation. You need to take me seriously. So, yeah, I mean, I think that this watch was really cool. I got this new iPod Pro case, and I think it also matches my watch really well. It has a little lever to keep it from just popping open, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. These are the iPod Pros that I'm wearing right now. So, I mean, yesterday was a good day for me. It was a good... I didn't intend on buying anything. It was very spontaneous, but it was fate because I saw the watches online and I was really piqued and I was intrigued by the design. And being able to like hold it in my hands and try it on really made a huge difference. And that made me come up with a question in my stupid little noodle.
Okay.
When it comes, because there are people who listen to this podcast who are fountain pen enthusiasts, who are also watch enthusiasts. And to those people, I would appreciate you writing in at pentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com and letting me know, is the pulling the trigger on a watch more difficult if you don't handle it than it is if you do, like in the same way a fountain pen, right? You'll buy a fountain pen without ever holding it. Would you do the same thing for watches? Is it the same, I guess? Do you know what I'm trying to ask? Like, is it?
Yeah, like is it a similar buying experience,
Right.
shopping for watches than it is pens, or do you need to have more of a hands-on trial with a watch more so than a pen?
Yeah. And I think that it's probably, you need more of hands-on experiencing the watch in person. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you're not buying a $100 or $200 watch. I think that in that case, people would just buy the watch. But some watches that are high-end can cost thousands of dollars. Like the watch hobby is way more expensive than the fountain pen hobby, for sure.
It can get very lucrative.
Yeah, it's really expensive. So I'm just wondering, are there people out there who are watch enthusiasts who just said, hey, I saw this watch online, I'm just going to buy it without ever trying it on? And I don't know the watch industry so well, and how is it with watches? If you do buy one and you don't like it, can you return it? I wonder what retailers are like. I don't know enough, but me, I always loved watches. I don't think I was as obsessed with them as I was with fountain pens, but
I think that's obviously, you could tell that, being that, you know, you have some expensive watches, but far, far, far many more expensive pens.
yeah. You know, the only problem, and I think this might not be exclusive to me, but one of the big problems with being a watch enthusiast is you're always admiring it. And then if you do that around people, it could come off as rude because as they're talking or as you're hanging out with them, you're constantly just looking at your watch, and they're going to just be like, dude, what the fuck? You got to get out of here, you know? Like, don't let me hold you up. And I remember...
I'm just really enjoying looking at my timepiece. That's all.
Yeah. So when I remember being young, when I was a young man, and my wife, we were first dating. Wow, long time ago. I remember I was also into watches back then, but we were kids, so I couldn't afford anything more than like a $150 watch. And at that time, my watches were Fossil watches or Guess watches, but they weren't super high end. They were just probably stock movements with just the Guess or Fossil branding on it. But I did appreciate them, and when I bought a new one, I would constantly look at it and appreciate it and adore it. Finally, my wife is like, are you in a rush? Well, at the time, she was my girlfriend. Do you want to just go? Like, am I, like, what's wrong? Why do you keep checking your watch? So then I'd be like, sweetie, it's the new watch. I just keep looking at it because I'm happy I have a new watch. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she wasn't mad.
But go on. Time's ticking. So. That reminds me.
Yeah. So watches are cool.
I never really got into them myself. Like I've had watches in the past, and I think my most recent one that I wore the most was a kind of like a fitness type of watch where it like kept track of it was digital, kept track of your steps and your heart rate, and then also like kept some music on there so you could plug into it or wirelessly have headphones that you can pump the tunes in there. But then
it's more like a Fitbit, right?
It's kind of like a Fitbit, but it was like chunkier. It wasn't a Garmin, but it was one of those other brands that are out there. I forget which one it was, but after a while, those end up just not that I stop wearing them, but they end up messing up somehow because it's just like or I end up finding another solution. So my next solution was, I'm taking my iPhone and I'm putting an armband. And I just have the headphones on that way because I would usually not go out with my phone, and my wife really wanted me to go out running with a phone just in case like somebody jumps me, on the trail that I run. So
wait, I'm confused. So you had a watch that was something like a Fitbit. It monitored heart rate and breathing rate and all that stuff.
Yeah, distance.
How was the phone a solution to that?
Well, the phone there's an app called Map My Run, so it just still keeps track of your time and distance. I don't need the whole heart rate and perspiration rate and whatever things like the additional stuff that goes along with it. But I just wanted to know, how if I decide to start running in this other direction, and it's not like a usual path that I run, if it just could keep track of how much I'm going. That's all.
Oh, okay. So it was a solution
and play
in
music
terms
for
of,
me. So
right. So was your watch able to play music for you?
Yeah, but I would have to download songs to it, so it was kind of a pain in that regard because I'd have to listen to the same playlist. But now, when I'm bringing my phone, I have it connected to Spotify, and for the longest time, I was using the free version of Spotify, which was annoying with the ads and the fact that you can't select what you want to listen to, right? So we ended up, as a family, getting the premium version because then everybody could just listen to what they want to and, have our own playlists and stuff like that. And I was like, I can't go back because I love the fact that I could skip songs at will because they only let you skip 6 songs in an hour with the free version. So like you could just skip whatever songs you want. You could listen to any song on demand. And I was like, this is amazing. I get to just go and run and enjoy myself and not have to like listen to the same awful ads over and over again.
You know what I use? I use Amazon Music.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good one.
It's like $8. I don't know the difference between that and Spotify and Apple Music or anything like that.
They're all pretty much very similar. I don't think the catalogs like differ that much anymore. Because like that's what you're streaming stuff with the TV. Some things could be on Netflix, other things not on Netflix or on Hulu.
Right.
And then there's Paramount and whatever. But I think with the music stuff, I think it's fairly all the same. I don't think certain things are on one and then aren't on the other. So, I mean, 6 in one, half dozen in the other. It's just basically
I just try to keep it all in the same, like I'm using Amazon to watch movies, music, and I shop for stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I try to keep it all condensed so it's less confusing.
Does Amazon have podcasts? And does it have the Pentertainment podcast?
I think so.
Does it?
Yeah, Google it.
You look it up. Next time that you go for a run, you go look it up.
I don't need to listen to my own podcast.
I don't go looking on Amazon Music for stuff. So you tell me.
Does it? Oh, gee, I listen to Amazon Music when I do workouts and stuff. So I listen to a lot of Metallica playlists, and as of recent, I've been really listening to a group. Have you ever heard of a group called Blackpink?
Those were playing. That was the Korean K-pop band, right? The one that was
K-pop
playing
band.
at the Korean barbecue place we went to.
Yes.
I've never heard of them, but you just were, that's Blackpink. Like I was like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
who that is.
it was. It's I'm not sure if it's the greatest workout music. A lot of energy, a lot of sprightly energy. So yeah, it's good, I guess. It's a good group. I like it. A lot of cute girls in it. I kind of prefer Metallica though. I like the Rediscover Metallica playlist. So it just random top hits of all of Metallica's music. It's like a 4-hour long playlist. I love it.
Yeah.
And I got that playing in my head while I'm working out and stuff. Gets the adrenaline pumping. But I do like Blackpink. So I use Amazon Music for that. And yeah, I don't know, like I said, I don't know the difference between the different services, but I am sure they're all good. Where did you hear the term, you don't know shit from Shinola? I've never heard of it until I researched the brand Shinola.
I think it's a really old-timey term. I don't think it's something that really people use that often, but I've heard it in some context or another. And
I love the story of how the brand came up with it. Like, they're literally arguing, and it says in the website that the argument about the brand name got so heated, one guy just got all pissed off and was like, you don't know shit from Shinola. And then they're just like, Shinola? I love it.
Sounds good.
Right? It's actually just like a brain fart, I guess. Like somebody just had a spaz attack, right? Yeah, so...
This a violent outburst sometimes could just be exactly what you need to come up with a great idea for something.
Yeah. So, I think in about 2 weeks, we got Fountain Pen Day coming up, right?
Yes, we do.
That's going to be pretty cool. So, Fountain Pen Hospital, I know they are not sponsoring this, but I just want everybody in the New York area to know Fountain Pen Hospital has an event going on. Guess where?
At FPH's store, possibly?
Yeah! Dude,
oh, there we go.
You need a detective shield. You chose the wrong career path. Yeah, so Fountain Pen Hospital, and I think it's really cool. I'm not going to be able to actually physically make it, but Fountain Pen Hospital on November 4th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., they're going to be having a Fountain Pen Day event where they want people to come. And it's really exciting because they're going to be having raffles, special discounts, and apparently the first 100 people that show up get a free candle made by Esterbrook. Have you...
Oh, okay.
Remember the candle that Hulser gave
from
me?
Yeah, because you were showing it last week, yeah.
Yeah, so he gave me that candle. The first 100 people are getting the candle, but also raffles and special discounts. That's going to be cool. But it won't be cool if no one shows up, which would be really sad because Terry, he started selling fountain pens before the dawn of the dinosaurs. And he's investing a lot in trying to make this a really fun and special event.
I think Terry was there when the monolith was there, when they were passing out the pens to all the monkeys.
He's the one who put the monolith there. Right? He's the one who set up the monolith and let the monkeys go crazy and beat the shit out of you. I don't get that scene. Is the monolith what made them all of a sudden start killing each other?
That it's up to interpretation, I believe. It's a Stanley Kubrick film, and you kind of have to just fill in the blanks whenever there are any blanks.
He always does that, Stanley Kubrick, right? Like he always makes it look kind of weird, and you don't understand what the hell's going on, and somewhat disturbing, right? Because the monkeys were fine up until that monolith showed up, and then they just start beating the fuck out of each other. I'm like, Jesus, what is it about
Well, one would say maybe it's not the behavior that was unlocked, but the fact that they learned how to use the bones as tools, or the fountain pens as tools,
right?
And then it was just the animal instinct taking over. It's like, oh, I figured this out. Now I could just totally beat on Terry over there. Not Terry from Fountain Pen Hospital, but Terry the monkey over there.
Right. So basically, it gave them more intelligence, and with that intelligence came violence. Is that what the movie?
It basically says like, well, I have figured out to one up my, somebody else over here, so I'm going to put them down now that I know how to beat people up with a bone. I guess, I don't know.
Okay.
So yeah.
Right. So it taught the monkeys how to use bone. Anyway. Yeah, so, Terry's been around a long time. He's been in the industry a long time, and he's trying to engage with the community in a way that I guess someone his age doesn't know how to with regard to social media. So, but in order for this to be successful, in order for it to be fun, people have to show up. So if you're free on Friday, November 4th, 2022, from the hours of 11 to 4,
in the New York City area.
In the New York City area, right? Swing by. Check it out. say hi. You're going to have guys from different brands there, I believe. I think it's going to be the guys from Kenro is going to be there. Terry's going to be there. He's a lot of fun. He really looks like Will Ferrell's dad to me, but he's fun. His brother Steve is going to be there, and the store is gorgeous, so please check it out. It's going to be lots of fun. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go, but I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it if you are able to go. So there's that, Fountain Pen Day. Mr. Fountain Pen Day is going to be there too. Mr.
I
Perry
think
Yeager.
Is he?
Right?
I don't know if he's actually going to be there. I remember I asked Carrie what he was doing that day. I'm not 100% sure, but he's usually somewhere. He's at
Right.
some sort of event somewhere,
Right.
celebrating his high holy day that he created.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. I'll look it up while. But yeah, I mean, a lot of other retailers will also have a lot of things going on, so it pays to be in the loop during that week or so leading up to it, because there's probably going to be giveaways, special deals, coupons, you name it. The whole entire community, all the retailers tend to go crazy because it's kind of like a precursor to Black Friday and the craziness that comes with that. So it's an awesome opportunity to jump on a lot of different pens that you see, and then just kind of embrace the pen community in general, because you get a lot more people who are just casually interested in it that decide, hey, maybe I should give it a shot because Fountain Pen Day is a thing, and maybe it's a thing that's big enough that I should try to partake in it. So
Yeah.
it's a great excuse to just get somebody else who's interested in writing and just throw a fountain pen in their hand. So see how they
It's
like
it's also a day, for some reason, I mean, for a good reason, it's one of those days where distributors, manufacturers, they kind of give permission to all the retailers to go below MAP pricing. I've seen a lot of times for people who don't know, MAP pricing is minimum advertised pricing, and retailers are forbidden to sell, for example, a pen that's $199 below $199. Right, so if the MSRP is $240, they can sell it for $199, but that is as low as they're allowed to go. On Fountain Pen Day, a lot of retailers are given the go-ahead to go ahead and sell it below the $199 price to give an additional discount. So that's what kind of makes it like a Black Friday type thing. You'll get sales that won't exist throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah,
And
it's usually comes in. It may not be maps related stuff, but some brands will just be like. Yeah, some brands are just going to be like, doesn't matter what time of the year. They just say, nope, it can't be. But sometimes if there's certain examples of like exceptions, or that they'll allow complementary product to be added to it. So sometimes it would be like a set, and that the set itself is discounted, includes like a bottle of ink or pouch or whatever. So it does, like you were saying though, to your point, is that there's usually deals and offers that aren't on the table the rest of the year.
Right. So I say prepare for it. This is the Fountain Pen Hospital, if you're in the New York area, is really effective for shopping in the same way buying the Shinola watch was effective for me. I wasn't really willing to buy it online without having played with it, held it, wearing it. But having gone into Bloomingdale's and actually seeing it, sale or no sale, I was sold on it because I was able to hold it and experience it. This is one of those things where you might be sitting home thinking, hey, how is that custom 823? I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on it. Well, if you're not sure, go into the Fountain Pen Hospital, use it, play with it, hold it, dip test it, whatever it is you got to do. That might be what it takes for you to get a pen that you really like. Or if there's something you're on the fence about, you might go in there and be like, nah, fuck this. Now that I've held it, it's shit. Or the opposite, like, this is the most amazing thing ever. And I really think it's a good idea to do that, especially if a lot of people are considering the Homo sapien, right? They hear about it. It's like legendary online. And people ask me all the time, oh, should I get the Homo sapien? I'm always like yes and no with that, because it's like, yes, it's a really unique, cool concept that doesn't exist with any other brand, but it's probably going to write like shit. So you need to go into a store. If you really want to buy it, go into a store and then write with it, then buy it. Sometimes blind faith in a Homo sapien can kind of bite you in the ass. And
Unfortunately, so.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a pen like a Homo sapien. You might want to go in there and be like, gee, I really don't know if I want to spend $40 on a pen. Well, this is your chance to go in there, handle it, and see how you like it without having to invest the money. And there's no better way to experience something than to experience it and then buy it, right? Because, I mean, if you think about it, all the online stuff, unless you know pens like you and I do, it's kind of a gamble, right?
It is it's a leap of faith, because you have to have faith in the manufacturer, you have to faith in their quality control,
Right.
faith that the pen that you're going to get not only is going to be of good quality and will work, but also that because they're very personal, that if it's going to fit your particular hand and the way that you write.
Right.
So,
Or also if the finish is what you think it is, right? Looking at the Shinola watch, looking at pens online, looking at the new retro pen that came out that stirred up all kinds of controversy, it looks different in hand than it does on a screen.
acrylic tends to be like that.
Yeah.
But like I see your Shinola watch, being that it's very uniform in its color and composition, I would imagine that they seem to not variate that much. But to your point with pens, anything that has like a swirly acrylic resin, anything that has any sort of resin that could have sparkles or swirls or multiple colors could vary quite differently from what you see pictures to real life.
Yes. And you could be either really impressed with what you're holding when you go to the pen store, the Fountain Pen Hospital, or you could be disappointed because the picture made it look better, or the picture didn't make it look good enough, right?
Right.
And going back to what you were saying about the Shinola watch, what I didn't expect with the bezel, the metal bezel, the stainless steel bezel,
Right.
is how rounded it is and how much that rounding gives you the pocket watch quality, which I really like.
Nice.
It looked flatter than it did in real life on the photos. And then on the photos, it looks more like a Kelly green or a Hulk green.
Okay.
Whereas in real life, it's more of like, the best way I
Game
can
Boy.
say it is the Game Boy
green.
screen green.
Yeah.
And what sold me was how it looked in reality. What piqued my interest was how it looked online. And this is why I think going to the Fountain Pen Hospital is such a great idea, because pens online will pique your interest, but what will sell you is the pen,
Right.
not really the picture online. You know what I
And
mean?
if you're in the Midwest, if you're in the Chicago area, I think I just was looking through my texts, and Carrie says that he's going to be at Atlas Stationers, which is another fine pen retailer in Chicago during that week. So even if you, like, locationally speaking, if you're not in the metropolitan area
Right.
of New York, there are going to be other brick and mortar retailers probably doing an event. And
Similar
that happens to be
event,
one
yeah.
of them that Mr. Fountain Pen Day himself will be at.
That kid Brian at Atlas Station, good luck with that kid. Try to be in a bad mood and walk into him, and he won't let, like, you can't be in a bad mood with that guy. The guy is pure like energy and positivity. Such a good dude. Just try to go in there and be in a bad mood. He'll screw up your plans. It's really good. And also, he likes to have fun too while he's at work. He'll do all kinds of crazy like things for like TikTok, like knock over bottles of ink while filling stuff. I think that's great. If you're in the Midwest area, definitely check out Atlas Stationers. Nicest dude on the planet. And if you're in the New York area, check out Fountain Pen Hospital. Also the nicest and oldest dude on the planet. Very cool people. Very cool people. Very cool people. Terry's a great guy. I wish everybody has a chance to meet him. And I wish you guys can definitely go to either just any of the brick and mortar events that are happening with the Fountain Pen Day and everything like that. It's
And I think
definitely
that
good.
the fountainpenday.org website, I know Kerry tries to keep that updated, so he will probably list some details about any meetups or events that are going on at the different stores. So, it should be updated, and then you'll be able to find the links to each of the websites or, meetups that are going on. So,
Is Goldspot doing anything for Fountain Pen Day?
oh man, I knew that this was probably going to come up, and I didn't really have an answer for it because of many things, different things going on. Website being updated. We had just finished with the catalog a few weeks ago, so the plans are in development. We don't have anything like concrete just yet, but like you were saying before, there's going to be things that are like deals and specials that will be like basically like a mini Black Friday, if not even more over the top than that. There will be definitely an exclusive, like we were talking about exclusives earlier. It'll be an exclusive limited edition that will be launched on that day. So that will be something.
You can't talk about the details of it right now, I'm guessing?
No, I'll let you guys, like, you know, start to get all crazy and be like, oh, what is it? I don't know. Mystery. I don't know. We'll see.
You do know. What is it?
No, I don't. I don't know.
You just told me that you knew. How do you know it's an exclusive if you don't know?
I know, but I don't know.
Or do you want to just tell us what brand?
No. I'm being
What
very
color?
coy. Yeah. No.
What's that? Like, why? What is the need to keep it a secret until the day of? Right? Don't you want people? Like,
I am the type.
It's not.
You don't like surprises, do you? You don't like
No,
them
I do.
at all.
I do, but it's not Avengers Endgame ending here. We're talking about a pen, right?
No
Like,
spoilers.
If we found out, we have something to look forward to. If you don't tell people, then here's what's going to happen. They're going to build up expectations, and the day of, it's going to be a fucking Parker Jotter, and people are going to be like just pissed off and disappointed.
Nah,
and
wouldn't do that to you. Wouldn't
Yeah.
do that to you.
Okay, so why don't you tell? Are you not allowed to tell us, or is it that
Oh yeah, I'll definitely get fired for that. So
really?
yeah, immediately. I was told that's in my contract. If you tell what's going down on Fountain Pen Day, you shall be fired.
Okay, so then never mind.
it.
Don't talk about it. That's fine. I don't want you to get in trouble. You'll tell me after the show, though, right?
No, not even you. I know you're a blabbermouth. You'll just say it everywhere.
I'm not a blabbermouth. I have never blabbed. I have not blabbed. I'm not Ryan from Kenro. So I don't. When I am sworn to secrecy, I am like a steel trap. Nothing's coming out of my mouth. So anyway, yeah, you won't tell me. You'll tell me later, right? I'll tell you later. Okay, sounds good. All right. So anyway, anything going on with you, pen-wise, in the world of the pens and stuff?
In the world of the pens.
Yeah, because I was talking about watches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta throw some pens in there. Well, we talked about Fountain Pen Day.
Yeah, we talked about Pen Day. We talked about some
about
pens that I want to pair with my new Shinola Runwell watch that I really love. 47 milliliters. I'm in ink mode. Millimeters is rather large, but I think it works so well, right? Even with my...
There should be a watch, though. I would love to see a watch that, you said 47 milliliters, that would be like, almost like contain ink in it, and you would see the ink sloshing around the watch, and then there would be like a little port to open up, and that's how you could fill your pen.
Right. The closest thing I think was a U-boat watch. I forgot what it was called, but it was called. It was a capsule, so it had like a rounded crystal, and the interior of the watch was filled with oil. So
Neat.
Yeah, it was really neat. It was like $2,000 or $3,000. I can't remember really well. They used to be distributed by Kenro Industries, but I think something happened and that agreement got dissolved. I think they wanted to go their own way and whatnot. But the problem with that watch is you can't just go anywhere to change the battery. You have to go to U-boat because they got to open it up, change the battery, then fill the whole capsule with oil. But the concept was so cool. It has to be battery operated, a quartz movement. It can't be an automatic because, I don't know, maybe it can. I don't know. Who knows?
No, but I think I would like to see a watch that can contain bottled ink as well. That would be
the
awesome.
problem is then you can't see anything. Like, what if you got a Noodler's Black capsule watch? You can't see anything.
Well, you could have
black...
everything. Everything could be white set against it then.
Yeah, but it has to be able. It has to glow through the black ink. Right? Any ink color will make it difficult to see the... Speaking of ink, you know what ink I've been using a lot? The Peniter brand ink.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I just like the shape of the bottle. Yeah, the black and the blue. The blue is the most... Like, I don't know how you, like, a brand comes up with, like, the ink blue for Peniter. Like, do they just say, hey, let's make the most boring standard blue possible? I don't know. But the black seems pretty cool. It's really dark. Has some... When it's... I guess it has like a purplish black to it. It kind of reminds me of Quink Black, Parker Quink Black. And Parker Quink Black was actually the first bottled ink that I ever bought. And I remember before I went into converter filling inks and stuff like that, I was real nervous about it. It seemed like, oh my God, I'm going to have a bottle of ink. I'm going to fill my own pen. Like, this seems like a lot.
Yeah.
And it just, once you get past that, because I was like, I'm just going to use cartridges. But once I got past that and I started using Quink Black, I got the Quink Blue. And then I started Googling. I mean, this is just a rabbit hole. This is everybody's story when it comes to fountain pens and ink. I just started buying all kinds of different blacks, different blues, and just whoosh, rabbit hole.
Yeah. It's the world of ink is its own little mini rabbit hole besides the world of pens too.
Yeah.
It's fun though. It
Paper
very
also.
Fun.
I have to get my hands on the new Endless. I haven't even tried it yet because I'm
The
still
Regalia
using...
paper?
I have no idea. Whatever it is that they replaced the Tomoe River.
Yeah. Okay, so I have both. I've written extensively with the 68 GSM Tomoe River for years now. I love that paper, love it to death. The Regalia paper, the 90 GSM stuff, while it does retain the sheening and the shading of the colors and the hues, the vibrancy of the colors are there, it does a couple of things I don't like.
What's that?
It first of all, it increases the line weight of whatever it is that you're writing substantially.
What do you mean line weight?
So like if you write with a fine point, and on Tomoe River it's a fine point, on the Regalia paper it ends up spreading more.
Oh,
so
you mean line width, not line weight.
Yeah,
You
so
said line weight. Okay.
it's not that it feathers, but like the line itself spreads more. So
But is it
if
spread
you have
evenly?
it spreads evenly, but the thing is that's one thing. The other thing is that the toothiness of it is much different than Tomoe River. It's so incredibly toothy. It's very similar. It's even toothier, I would say, than that Colorverse, the Nebula note paper. It's very toothy, and
More so than Nebula.
And then at the same time, I've noticed that the paper itself has inconsistencies, the Regalia paper, where I think either it might be possible that it might just pick up on the very slightest bit of hand oil, and then it creates a part where the nib will just doesn't want to, like the ink just does not want to settle in that part of the paper.
Yeah.
But
It
I think
almost
it's more
thins out, right?
Yeah, it just thins out and it almost beads up. But I don't know whether it might just be me. It might, but I've seen it more consistently through all of because I also use a one of those tearaway pads, the Regalia, they call it the writer's block or something like that. It's like it's like a block of tearaway sheets of paper, and it does it both on that and also in the recorder journal. So overall, I'm not very happy with the change to the Regalia paper, and I honestly would just still stick with the Tomoe River paper. And I would hope that they would try the Sanzen, the new manufactured one, because I've seen tests I haven't tried the new version that's replaced the old Tomoe River, but I've seen from people's side-by-side tests that it seems pretty similar. I think it's better than what Regalia is offering. So
Okay.
I don't know.
So how would you compare the new Endless recorder with the Nebula notes? Which would you prefer?
I would probably say the Nebula one. I'd say the Nebula I would prefer more. They're very similar though, like in terms of like that kind of that toothier sort of paper stock. But like I said, these other two things, that the more spread of the line width of the ink, and then the inconsistencies that I've been experiencing, where the ink just doesn't want to set into the paper. That's really kind of.
It's kind of like you're writing on paper, and then somehow you come across wax paper, and then back onto paper, right? I've experienced that before.
And I don't know whether or not it's just for me dragging my hand across the page, or if it's just because of the paper's inconsistency.
I think it's a combination. That happens to me with some different papers that I use. I can't remember what brand it is, but it's definitely not Nebula. Nebula is very consistent. Mm-hmm. I can't remember which paper I was using. But if that happens to you, it happens to me. It happens to everybody. Or some people it doesn't happen, some people it does. But the point is, it's going to happen to more than just you, right? You're not the only one in the world that's going to experience that. So maybe they need to square that away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would definitely like for them to turn back to trying out the Sanzen Tomoe River, the newer version, because I think for what they say, the Regalia paper I don't think really holds any torch to the 68 GSM Tomoe River. So
What's GSM mean?
Grams per square meter.
Grams per square meter. And how does that affect paper?
It's
what
like
does that
density.
mean?
It's like the paper's density. So like, and that doesn't necessarily mean like a higher GSM is necessarily better, because like you could compare 52 GSM Tomoe River versus 80 GSM Rhodia, and people will prefer the 52 GSM Tomoe River because it is able to really show through those beautiful hues and the shading and the sheening a lot better than Rhodia can. But it, generally speaking though, if you're looking at just a generic paper brand that you're not sure of their quality, you would want to stay above 70 GSM, because if it is lighter and it's not like a Japanese paper, then it's most likely going to just bleed straight through to the other side because it's going to be too thin. So it's kind of like a gauge of the paper's density and thickness.
I think Hulser was saying the new Esterbrook notebooks are 80 GSM.
Yeah, I think that they're on the heavier side. So they felt pretty substantial. I haven't tried those out myself to
No, I haven't either.
see what that...
Grams per square meter. Grams
Right.
of what, though? Grams of paper? Grams
Paper
of
fiber, yeah.
clay content? Grams of what?
Paper?
Just paper? Just
Paper.
grams of... Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't manufacture paper, so I couldn't tell you the very nitpicky specifics that I know you're looking for, but it's yeah, generally speaking, it's not like an end all be all. If something is like 70 versus 80, it's like, oh, the 80 is always better. It's not really,
Mm-hmm.
It also
I see.
depends a lot on what kind of pens, what kind of nibs that you prefer writing with, and whether or not you like a smoother ride on your paper surface or a little bit more toothy. So some people don't like Tomoe River. Some people don't like how smooth it could be. They don't like how you see a lot more show through. Sometimes you would want a paper that when you write on the one side of it, you can't see on the other side what you wrote because it's thicker.
Yeah.
So it really does depend on what your preferences are. If you are an ink lover like me, I love to see the depth and color and the shading, the sheen of my inks. So that's Tomoe River, or a lot of the Japanese-made papers. I even like Cosmo Air Light. I know some people are hit and miss about Cosmo Air Light, but I enjoy that one too. But like Midori is a really good one too. Maromon makes some good paper. There's a lot of good papers coming out of Japan, for sure.
They're expensive, though.
A little bit more on the pricier side, but I mean,
But worth it.
Yeah.
Especially when you love fountain pens and inks. But alrighty, well, listen, we got to wrap this up. We're getting into the late territory.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, look at
at
that.
that.
Time just flies. But listen, I want to say again, thanks to everybody who joined us for episode number 140 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. We love you. Be well. Be safe.
Stay inky.